Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Domination. It's been a few days since I posted a video, guys. Sorry, been busy with some family bits. And on today's video, I just wanted to touch on a couple of the sort of latest Arsenal news touching around in the last 24, 48 hours after that vital win against Ipswich. I'll just very quickly touch on the game. I think you'll have all seen it, heard about it since, but obviously a 1-0 win, Kai Havertz getting the goal, really important given Chelsea lost and Liverpool won, that we overtook Chelsea and kept the pressure up on Liverpool. I mean, it was a fairly dull game, wasn't it? I mean, Arsenal in complete control of the game, which was reduced to, what, 1-2 shots in the entire match. Nothing really troubling for Arsenal's defenders. But the concern, of course, will be Arsenal's attack, especially given the Saka and Sterling injuries. But they were slow and ponderous again. They didn't move the ball quickly enough. One time they did is when they get the goal, Kai Havertz popping up with it. But it was 3 points, and that was that. And we just need to move on to Brentford in the next few days, and hope that we can continue the winning ways and keep that pressure going, because it's the only way that Arsenal are going to win the league. But as I say, I just wanted to touch on some of the news stories really today going around. And I'm going to start with Fabio Vieira. I mean, back into silly season, aren't we, really? Fabio Vieira left out of the Porto side yesterday for technical reasons, was the announcement for the game. This instantly led to social media exploding with rumours that he was returning, private jets spotted in the air and all sorts. Doesn't look like those initial reports and rumours, as is so often the case, are going to be correct, that Fabio Vieira has been recalled by Arsenal. It sounds like the Porto manager after the game was saying that Fabio Vieira will stay in Portugal. He will be available for their next game, and he was left out due to his attitude and performances in training. This is obviously a little bit worrying from an Arsenal perspective, because he had issues last season where Mikel Arteta was unhappy with his training, and given his performance on the pitch were hardly exactly stellar, I think you can't really afford to sort of phone it in training, really. So I think that will be a concern. And of course, after the reports came about Vieira's training, he barely played for Arsenal again. Only his last start for Arsenal was 13 months ago in the Carabao Cup in November, and he's played under 60 minutes last season in the league after that moment for Arsenal. But if Arsenal were to recall him, and I don't know if they can, I mean, maybe it will need to be in the agreement with Porto. I don't know what it said. I've not seen anything about it. But let's say Arsenal can. I think there was a question about whether they should or not. I think the reason he's recalled him would be he can play on the right wing, um, and he's an extra body. I think if we're going to lose Saka until February March time, we already want to attack a short. That would make us essentially two. He would be one of those bodies. But the question is he going to play? Is he good enough to play? And I think, I mean, when you look at him, his performance for Arsenal, bar the odd moment, the Carabao Cup goal, that sort of Carabao Cup, sorry, Community Shield goal, and the odd other occasion, he's not really ever consistently performed well for Arsenal. This season for Porto, 2 goals, 2 assists in 17 games in all competitions, I think it is. It's not exactly, stuff that you're writing home to your mother about, is it? I mean, he's consistently shown he's not at the level for me, and I think therefore his recall, beyond being a body for Arsenal, doesn't really do a lot to fix the attack. Doesn't really suggest to me that if his attitude in training isn't right, and clearly Arteta doesn't trust him, or he wouldn't have sent him away and given his minutes to Wanrieri, who I think looks a talent, it doesn't suggest to me that his future's at Arsenal and he's going to get much use here, and therefore you'd have to question what's the point. You might as well leave him in Portugal, where he's at least playing, and hope that sort of creates a market for him in the summer, where Arsenal will clearly look to move on for him. But if he did return, as I say, the positive would be he'd be an extra body in attack, an extra option in attack. It's not exactly like we were flush with attackers on the bench against Ipswich the other night. So that's the latest on Fabio Vieira. As I say, it's a silly season. But there is one that sort of rumour doing around at the moment that has sort of got a bit of legs potentially, and that's Dani Olmo. It's an interesting one. He's obviously an attacker, winger, currently playing for Barcelona. Now, there's been news on that in the last few days, which is a court in Spain has ruled that have upheld the decision of the La Liga, which is basically Dani Olmo cannot be registered from January the 1st if the financial issues that the club have got are not resolved and they're not able to register him with the league. It doesn't appear as if that situation has been resolved from Barcelona's perspective, hence the court proceedings. They have appealed. I think they've taken it to a new court in Spain, but there are certainly ongoing judicial processes around Dani Olmo. Um, and that time is running out for a resolution here. Now, there have been mixed reports around this. Some saying that his agent flew to Manchester on Boxing Day or the day after, and he's subsequently spoken to sides in England, including Manchester City and Arsenal, and maybe other clubs across Europe. However, this has been contradicted by other reports that say Dani Olmo is happy in Barcelona. He wants to respect Barcelona, give them every opportunity to be able to register him. He obviously wants to play football. I think that will be his pressing priority if Barcelona can't. I imagine that situation will change. But currently, that's what is also being reported. So they're very contradictory reports. So who knows what the situation with Dani Olmo is? What I would say is that if Barcelona can't register him, I would expect Arsenal to be involved in the conversation for him. There are lots of reports around that Arsenal have PSR issues, and that's what has limited their spending this season, somewhat despite the sales. There are reports that I actually put a little bit of store by. They spent a lot of money in the last 2 or 3 years with very little coming in until this summer. The club themselves said that they wouldn't expect a big spending spree this window, etc., etc. Sorry, the summer window. It all sort of adds together to me, sort of that all makes sense. You would hope that the late sales of players like Ramsdale and Nketiah and Smith Rowe might have changed that situation, but maybe the club had already factored that in with their earlier spending. I don't know. But whatever happens, Dani Olmo would be a free transfer. Now, there would be presumably an agency and a signing on fee, and obviously his wages wouldn't be insubstantial. But you'd have thought that would be far more appealing to Arsenal, and they'd be able to get something like that done, given there'd be no transfer fee, making him a really good player to sign. He's obviously a top player, really versatile player as well. And all of that sort of ticks boxes. So I think I would expect Arsenal to be in the conversation, but I think there will be lots of suitors for him. And I don't think it would be an easy one necessarily for Arsenal to get done, because I suspect, given Dani Olmo's history and looking at his career, he's not always gone where the money is. He's gone where he thinks he's got the best chance of playing, both in the short and long term. Now, it was obviously a really good opportunity for him to maybe play on the left for Arsenal. Trossard and Martinelli not exactly been consistently brilliant in that role, and maybe that would be appealing to him. But I think his preference is to play centrally, and of course Martin Odegaard is likely to be the man that will keep possession of that shirt, and I don't see any signs of Arsenal going to a single pivot with sort of 2 10s, and I'm not sure that's necessarily how you want to play anyway. Maybe that's just my slightly natural conservative sort of approach to things going through there, but I think it will be a difficult signature. I'd be very surprised if someone like Liverpool, who are reportedly interested, got it done, given that. But I wouldn't be shocked to see City coming in, and City sort of being able to make the more attractive offer potentially. Depends on what motivates him. We don't know. Different players are motivated by different things, but they could sort of say, hey, look, Dani Olmo, Kevin De Bruyne is on his way out here. He's getting old. He's injury prone. We see you as if there's a new Kevin De Bruyne. Who knows? They might be able to make that pitch to him. Arsenal, I think, can make a strong pitch too, but it will ultimately be a bit like Declan Rice last summer, where he did choose Arsenal over City. What does Dani Olmo prefer? Where does he want to play? How does he want to set up? Interesting times ahead there, but ultimately, I think if Barcelona can register him, he will stay there, and it will be largely due to the courts on that one. But one to watch, certainly. And finally, very quickly, back to silly season. Alexander Isak has been told that any club wanting to purchase him in January will have to pay in excess of 150 million. I mean, that's clearly mental. Shows how ridiculous football finances have got. I can't see anybody being stupid enough to pay the asking price in January. I don't think anyone has the money for it, for a start. Secondly, I think that's an overpay for. I mean, I think it's an overpay anyway because I think football finance is ridiculous. But it's clearly an overpay. He's a talented player, no question about it. One of the top nine on the market, but he's not a £150 million player. Um, I think what he has done this season is shown the quality that we all know he has, but he appears to have stayed largely injury free this season. And that was one of the big concerns people probably had over him in the summer. But let's be honest, guys, this is not one that's going to get done in January. My preference for January is a wide player for sure, because I think there's a space in the squad for the wide player going forward. Because I don't think you're going to get a striker of the quality we are ideally after in January. I don't think we have the money for it. And even if we did, I just can't see us getting Isak out. Maybe Orquez, if we have the money, is more viable in January. But a top striker is unlikely to move in January to Arsenal. But I think a wide forward, there's space in there. I think there's space for two wide forwards with Sterling departing. I think you could do that in the summer, and therefore you could get one now and still keep your powder dry for whoever your number one target is this summer, both at the number nine and on the wide position. But there we go, silly season in full flow with some of the reporting. Hopefully Arsenal, in fact Arsenal do need to be active in this January transfer window. I said it at the end of the summer. I don't think the summer window was the shambles people say it was. However, it also is the missing piece was a forward player in the summer. That needs to happen in January if Arsenal can make it happen. And Arsenal need to be all over this window. Lots of things coming in the space, lots to keep us, give us things to talk about going forward. I'll try and keep you up to date on this channel. But as always, that's enough from me. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I will speak to you soon. Have a good day, guys. Cheers. Bye.